Honeycore is an aesthetic that represents all things sunshine, picnics, tea, and of course, honey. Once introduced to this style, I was surprised at how little content there was surrounding it, so I decided to come up with some projects of my own, and here they are. Up first is this lemon infused honey. So I'm beginning by grabbing a cutting board, a grater, a knife, and my lemon. I started by grating the lemon, and as wonderful as zest can be for flavor, keep in mind that it can make things really bitter, so don't be too heavy-handed with it. And then I also cut a few slices so that the oils from inside of the fruit would give it even more flavor. Setting these things aside, I grabbed my saucepan and added about 1/4 of a cup of honey and then put in my zest and my slices. I cooked this for about 7 to 10 minutes on medium heat, and then grabbing a storage jar, I just strained the honey, and once cooled down, you can keep this for a couple of months, and it's so good in teas and on top of fruit. It's a really fun, tangy, sweet flavor, and I've been really enjoying it. Up next are embroidered fabric jar lids. So you can do this with a ton of different types of material and then also any size jar. So I'm beginning by just cutting normal circles out of my material. I have a patterned one and then 2 separate colored ones. And starting off with this smaller one, I'm going to grab some black, yellow, and white embroidery floss. With the yellow, I'm cutting about a 4 to 6 inch strand and then splitting that in 2 to use 3 of the strands. And then for both the white and the black, I'm just going to be using 2 strands. Next, I'm marking a small oval shape with a pencil very lightly on the cloth, and I'm going to thread my embroidery needle with the yellow first. Once I have the other side knotted, I'm going to come up at the base of the oval and do back and forth stitches to create the base of the bee that we're embroidering. Once I have gone back and forth across the entire oval, I'm going to thread the black onto my needle and do thinner, less frequent stripes across. Once I have the black done, I'm going to take my white and do super tiny back stitches in 2 different loops for the wings. So I'm going in an arch shape and then back down and then doing a second one coming out of that. Knotting that at the back, I'm done with the bee, and I did 2 more of these in a line. For the second one, I'm grabbing this tan type of material, and I'm not doing an intricate design, I'm just adding a bit of color. So I'm taking my yellow embroidery floss, again splitting it into 2 so that I'm using 3 strands, and then threading my needle with that. I'm taking a pretty long strand because I'm going to be doing running stitches all the way around the perimeter of the circle, so super quick and easy, but I think it just looks really cute and dainty. I don't know, I like it, and you can do it with any color, so I think it's kind of fun. The third piece of material I'm using already has a pattern on it, so I didn't want to embroider anything, but I did use some tweezers to kind of purposely fray the edges, and I feel like it gives it kind of a fun, worn-in look. I don't know, it's not for some people, but I think it looks fun, and I like how it turned out. But if you're not super into the excess fabric look, you can also use smaller bits of material, as well as these really nice fabric samples from IKEA that you can get for free that work pretty well. And cutting them into circles or snipping off the corners make great just base jar lids so that there's no fabric on the outside, it just covers the middle. And I think these look super cute as well. So whichever one you prefer, both are super cute in my opinion, but yeah. So recently I've been absolutely loving these laced collars, and it inspired me to make a fabric one. So we are going to be making a fabric collar that you can customize yourself. So to do so, I'm going to grab some paper as well as a pencil and sketch out the shape I want. As you kind of saw in those pictures before, there are so many different shapes you can have around the front, whether that be like super angular or curved. So you totally have creative liberty with the shape of this. I chose a pretty rounded one and it worked really well. So once I cut the pattern, I grabbed some material, and with mine, I did a double-sided one so that I could flip it, but you could do just one fabric if you'd like. And I'm going to fold my first material and then put the side of that pattern at the fold so that when you unfold it, you have the full piece. Then I pinned it down and cut around it. After removing the pins, I also took off the pattern and did that same exact thing to my other piece of material. I quickly pressed both of the pieces as well, just so that they laid more flat on top of each other and it was easier to sew. Then, like I said, I'm going to lay those two good sides together and pin around, marking the center back of it just to remind myself to not sew that area so we can flip it inside out. And then also last minute grabbing some yarn, cutting 5 or 6 inch strands and stuffing them into the corner and leaving just a bit out, pinning that down so that once you flip it right side out, you'll have the ties. Then moving my sewing machine over, I'm starting just after that center back marker and sewing all the way around. It was kind of tricky pivoting around the point at the front, but if you take it slow, it's pretty simple. Back stitching right before that mark, I am cutting the thread and then flipping everything right side out. This took a bit of time, and also I pressed it afterwards just so that it again laid more flat, but you are nearly complete at this point. All I'm doing left is hand sewing a ladder stitch across that opening so that it is all closed up. After I knotted that, I just trimmed the ties and here it is.